Alright, so we're back in the garage now, and probably the first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to get your oil. So whichever brand you decide to use, you can get your oil. Okay, there's many different brands out there, many different ones that you could choose from. Manual recommends you can check the manual to see which one you prefer to use, but they recommend pretty much that 20W50 area. And but some people like to use the mobile or other brands, 10W40s also. Just whichever one you decide to pick, you can go with. Then get yourself a oil filter. You can find reviews on oil filters online, and if you are wondering which oil filter is good for you to use, you can go to Google, type in Vstar 1300 wiki oil filters, and there's a big list of oil filters on there that they're gonna tell you all about which ones fit, which ones have some issues. There were some changes in some filters and some weren't fitting pretty good, so they ended up not going with them. The one thing you're gonna want to end up having is you're gonna want a funnel, which I have here, which I do like to use. That's on the other side. We'll cover that later. You're going to want a pan so that you can drain your oil into. Yeah, I do have two of them. You want an old rag because you'll use that to clean up a few things. You're going to need either one of these ratcheting wrenches and a 17mm so that you can pull the bolt. If you are doing this for the first time, you're going to want to use definitely going to wish you luck, because that oil filter is going to be on there so freaking tight, it's insane. It doesn't matter if it's the 1300, it doesn't matter if it's a striker, it's the same thing. They put that oil filter on so tight. I was hearing rumors that they don't put any oil on the little rubber gasket, and that's pretty much why it's on there so tight, but I don't know. Anyway, so you're probably going to want to get one of these. These are just these little oil filter removers, and the way this works is you put it on the oil filter, and then as you turn this way, it grips in, gets smaller, and grips the oil filter so that you can turn it. They have one that's made out of rubber. They have a lot of different little tricks to use with this to get the oil filter off if you happen to put it on too tight, or if it is the first time and it's really tight, getting it off. Okay, so now you're probably at the point where you're going to want to pull that bolt that's under there. And to do that, okay, as you can see, you have two bolts here. There's this one, and then there's that one. This one is not the one that you want to pull. This one is the one that you want to pull because it has this little indentation around it to protect it from any ground debris. Okay, so you're going to take your little socket, put it on there. Basically, you're going to want to pull it now. Alright, let me just double check which way you're turning this thing. Alright, and alright, there we go, and I just knocked the light over. Alright, let's put that back. There we go. Alright, so now you've loosened it. Alright, and I'm probably gonna have to go to my other view. Alright, so now once that's in place, you'll be able to pull it. Okay, I do need to get a little sample out of this. So just keep in mind this oil is a little hot, so you're gonna wanna, that's good enough to turn. So I'm gonna turn this, all right,
and I just need to get this in here so I can catch a little bit of it midstream. Alright, gonna drop it. Alrighty, now I get a little bit of this in there, fill my cup up, and my test cup is full. Nice. Where's my cleanup rag? Alrighty. So our oil is draining out. It's about 3,500, 4,000 miles on that oil there. And this was the Rotella 5W30. Usually I use a 15W50 Mobile 1, but I put a little lighter oil in for the winter and up until now. Alright, so I got my sample. Our oil is draining out. Okay. As you can see here, it's draining. Got a nice little flow there. I don't want to drop my camera on that stuff, but once you pull that bolt, you're gonna let that drain. Now I'm gonna let this sit here and drain for about a good hour or two, and I'll be back a little later on. Alrighty. Alrighty. So now you just gotta put your clamp on like that. Try to get it up high like this and then push under. Take that slack out of there and get it up a little more, and then you can just push down on it and start to turn it. Turn it that way. Move the filter, move your pan over more so you don't make a mess. And you start to turn it a little bit more, and there we go. Nice and loose. Loosey goosey. Alright, and I'll try to do this so you can see. Just gonna loosen it up a little bit. She's gonna start dripping. Oil will start to want to come out. Let that oil drain out. Okay. Keep your pan there. Let that drain out. You can level the bike off and do this. It does help. But I've done it on the kickstand many a time, and then just take the rag and wipe down that little area there afterwards. No big deal. Okay. Loosen that a little bit more. It's gonna come out of there. Just want to make sure your little rubber gasket here doesn't stay on the engine. Alrighty, good. Looks good. Let that finish draining before I take it out. There's obviously some oil in there. Alright, so once that's done draining, you can pull that out and let it hang a little bit and drain. If you can get that oil out of there, or whatever you can get out of there, is good. And then you're gonna discard that. We have a local recycling place that they take these oil filters, so we drop them off there. Okay, little dirty oil rag. And while I'm under here, I'll just inspect a little bit to see how everything is looking. If there's any dirt under there, I like to try and clean it away. Probably should do it beforehand, but I didn't. I'll just clean that little area here. Just clean this little area here. Just cleaning off the little gasket area there. Just making sure that that's clean. Looks good. Rub it on the threads, and it looks good.
Alright, so we have fully drained the oil. And now, just getting ready to put the oil drain bolt back in, and then we can get to filling up our oil. Alrighty, let's get down on dirty ground. Alright, push this oil out the way, nice and slow. We don't want it spilling all over the place. Just looking to see what you can see, which is not much. So let me just change this view around a little bit. Alright, so hopefully you can see a little better. Find the main nav and drain bolt. Oh, here it is. I put a new washer on. Okay. It's still dripping a little bit, but and what I do is I just tip the bike over a little, and that way you can help any little extra bits of oil that's in there to drain out. That is like a really nice complete drain. Sometimes if I'm in a rush though, I'll just do a quick a quick drain or something like that. Alright, anyway, so the new washer is on. Now you want to just put the drain bolt back in. Just be sure not to cross thread it. Okay, put that in. Now I'm not sure on what the spec torque is. I'll post it. I'll look in the manual and post it. But usually I don't hammer down on this. I just usually tighten it just enough. You know, you don't need to kill it with torque. Like, that's pretty much good. Alright, now we can get to filling it up. Alright, so now I have the bike leveled off. I use a level that I put on the gas tank, as you can see there. And that kind of helps me to know exactly just where I stand. And I put a jack stand underneath the bike here, as you can see. I mean, you can always use a few blocks of wood to get you there, but I like the jack stand only because it just helps me from it keeps me it's pretty secure. Let's just say that. All right, now your sight window, okay, is, see if I can get the light onto this here. It always sucks that they put this here, but your sight window, oh, there it is right down there, as you can see there. Hopefully that comes out on the video. Might need to be a little lower, but yeah, your sight window is right down there. Basically you have two lines on there, and if you look in the manual, it'll tell you there's a lower and there's a higher, and you're basically gonna fill up to that right up into that upper. Let me set this down. You're gonna have a hard time seeing. I'll just copy and paste it and put it up on the screen. Anyway, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna fill your oil up, okay, which is right here. So I like to get a little funnel, fill that up with oil, then throw your cap back on. When the bike is level, you can check your little sight window here, and that little crazy position that it's in. There it is. That little sight window. It's hard for me to help you to get a sight on it, but there you go. You can see it there. That little sight window. That's where you need to check your oil level.